idea, sort of like home ownership. Everybody should own a home.
Right.
Well, we saw where that took us, right?
Yeah.
When you lower the requirements, and suddenly we're all, it's blowing up and we're fucked. But anyway, what do I know? What the hell do I know?
Mike
what
knows
do I know
everything.
either, but
Yeah.
I see your points, and I know what you're saying. I think that one thing that disturbs the shit out of me is student loans. I mean, one of the worst
How long
ways
ago
to
was
prepare
this?
a kid for the future is to saddle them down with
think
$250,000
3 years
worth
ago.
of debt by the time they graduate from college.
Right. No, absolutely.
And then they get a $50,000 a year job, and they're like, "What in the?" And they're doing well with a $50,000 a year job. That's a great job to get out of college, and you just look at the debt that you have, and you're like, "What the fuck is this?"
Why did
How am I gonna-
why did you get a loan to go to college in the first place, man? I didn't. I paid for college with my money that I earned with these and this and this, and I went to class and I played rugby, and I got married right at the end of my senior year. I did not party. I did not stay up all the time. I did not go hang out at the student union. Like, in my opinion, like, having the student college experience is such bullshit. What does that do for you? I mean, maybe you create or establish some sort of a loose network that then maybe you can build on in the future, that maybe if you're not really a hustler, that maybe someone who you met in college might be able to help you find a job. $250,000 in debt to go to college, so you went and lived for free for 5 years, and now you're bitching at everybody because you didn't have a hustle bone in your body to go earn any money with, and you borrowed all the money to live, eat, and study and party with. I don't know, man.
this shit?
Yeah, no, I know, and we have sold the students a bill of goods.
Yes.
And some of it, okay, some of it's on them, right? Some of it, the older students are the ones who are willing to take out this loan, and then suddenly they're using the money for something else. Okay, fine.
Right.
There's individual responsibility, but no, I agree with it. The student loan debt is a major issue. We occasionally the Capitol Hill talks about it, but not really. I told my daughter, who's a fantastic person, I said, the biggest gift you're getting is getting out of college without any debt.
Yeah.
That's so. Dad's not going to buy you your own Wagoneer. You gotta get
your own Wagoneer.
Yeah, your tuition, and that's it. That's the best I can tell.
That's a gigantic head start for kids. It's
Yeah.
Not, I mean, it sounds so fucked up, but it's true. To not be in debt is gigantic. Look, they're giving kids credit cards, and their frontal lobes aren't even developed yet. And they're doing all kinds of wacky. They're like, "Well, I'll figure it out."
Right.
Like, you ain't figuring out shit. You never
Okay,
figured
so
out-
you make a bad financial decision when your frontal lobe isn't developed, and we're supposed to forgive that. But if you make a bad criminal decision when your frontal lobe's not developed and you go kill someone who cut you off in traffic, you're going to jail for the rest of your fucking life. No one's forgiven that. A bad decision's a bad decision. If it's a bad financial decision, that's fucking on you. And if your parents aren't sitting there going, "Hey, if you're going to take these loans, you have to understand that the next however many years are going to be difficult." Yeah, no problem. I'm in a frat. We got 10 parties over the next 20, 30 days. Come on. Let's take some personal responsibility for the decisions we make. These kids aren't 12 years old being given these student loans. Here's the other thing, man. Why do you have to go to college where you have to go live in a dorm, go live in an apartment? Why can't you go to college online, get your degree online? You can. It's this whole college experience that everyone thinks they're due. Bro, you aren't due a goddamn thing, man. You're due what you earn. If you got great grades in high school, and you mind your P's, mind your Q's, cross your T's, dot your I's, let's get all the alphabet in there. You might qualify for some sort of scholarship, go to college, get a job, pay for your room and board out of pocket if your parents can't pay for it. My parents couldn't pay for shit. I had a scholarship, gave up my scholarship to play rugby, started a company. I mean, I'm not asking for pats on the back. What I am saying is there's a lot of fucking people out here who hustle, who show us every day that the American dream isn't just a dream or a concept. It's a reality if you've got the guts and the grit to go after it. But if you're standing out here with your hand out going, "Oh, college cost me this and I only got a $50,000 job. You got a college degree. You're so far ahead of the game. It's not even funny. And then you're coming back playing the victim card for a second time. You go, oh, I got all this college debt and I only got a job that pays me $50K. How am I going to pay this? Go get a better job. Go start a company. Go be an innovator. Go be an inventor. Go be an initiator. Go earn more money. This is the land of opportunity. I have absolutely no sympathy for people who complain about their student debt, and I think it is absolutely next level insane that we're forgiving student debt. That's not something that I can control, though, so I'm not going to spend much time complaining about it. But what I'm going to tell my kids when I have kids is we're going hard in high school, man. And if you're good at something and you like it, we're going to pursue it. You're going to get good grades because you're going to study, and then we're going to figure college out. I'm not promising them a paid college tuition, though. I'll probably start a college fund because that's a wise thing to do as a parent. But what are these college students learning when they go through college and everything's paid for? First of all, they don't understand how money works at all. If they're getting credit cards, they're using them. They have big time interest rates, but they don't understand the money's going out so fast and they're not bringing any in. So they have no ability to conceptualize the value of the dollar. They're just spending it, man. It's just going out the door. I'll pay it back later when I get this awesome job down the line. It's pretty crazy, man. Rogan's been talking about student debt for a long time. So has Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban says that the student debt bubble is the next big, or he did, a couple years ago after 2007, 2008, the housing crisis. Cuban was really going hard saying that the student debt thing was going to be a huge bubble that was going to negatively impact our economy. And I think what more negatively impacts our economy than anything is people who get out of college, have no idea what they want to do with their life, have no idea how money or credit works, and have no ability to fend for themselves, which is insane because we're all holding a supercomputer in our hands every day. There's more opportunity on this than anyone in the history of mankind has ever had. And yet we're on here complaining that we got a $250,000 note to pay and we're only getting paid $50,000 a year. Go get a fucking better job, man. Go get a side hustle. Go Uber. I don't know. Go start a valet company. Go mow lawns. You know, the weekend ain't for Fortnite playing if you got a big debt to pay. It's for a side hustle. Earn more money. Get out of debt. Seems pretty cut and dry to me.
Yeah, it's not, but I can sit here and talk to you all day about this issue and tell you how, sure, what you're saying ideally in your like dream world would work, but
It wasn't my dream world,
when
though.
it comes down to it, no, this is the real world. That inflation chart I showed you is insane. The average cost of college, including what's it called, community colleges, whatever, all the way to the Ivies, how it increased versus
You're
inflation.
saying that
So
you don't think it would be more economically responsible if you don't have the means to go live in College Station for 4 years and go to A&M and have your room and board paid for and party all the time and study than to go to DeVry online and learn a skill and get a job and not enter the workforce with $250,000 of debt?
So when I say your dream world, I'm saying that's an ideal. DeVry's expensive too and doesn't offer great. A lot of reasons people go.
Well, I think college is overrated on the whole.
Yeah, so I can agree with you on that.
I mean, I think if you really taught kids what they needed to know in high school.
Yeah, so you mentioned financial literacy, and guess what? Not every kid has parents who are financially literate or has parents, or so the systems we have, such as public education, resources, are not design. They don't want you to. Y'all talked about it with Josh. Yeah,
it's broken at a fundamental level.
It's broken at a fundamental level. Part of that is our financial institutions our educational institutions.
Sure. So then the government goes and puts a Band-Aid on a broken bone.
Exactly. So
instead
I was going to say I could sit here and argue with
the problem.
Yeah. Exactly. But the problem is those fundamental backbones of our society that, if aren't addressed at the root level, this is literally a Band-Aid. And I want to tell you, just don't get too worked up, because $10,000 is not going to make the people suffer less. People are going to still suffer, so don't worry. They're still suffering.
Look, I get it. What I'm saying is, first of all, we are in a recession. no matter if they've changed the definition of that on Wikipedia or not. This is a recession. Inflation is real. Cost of fuel, cost of milk, cost of eggs. I live where the rubber meets the road. I work in construction. I see how hard these guys work. I try to get them paid all the time. We get paid from insurance companies. They never want to release one extra dime more than they absolutely positively have to, right? So I'm not above it. I'm in the middle of it, if not going through it on a daily basis. What I am saying is almost every problem anyone has in terms of their economic status can be solved with more hustle. That's what I'm saying. That's my opinion, because I've seen that happen. Hustle, innovation, be an initiator, be inventive, come up with the next best idea. If you want to create content and monetize that, go for it. If you want to have 3 or 4 things that you're hustling at, go for it. Nobody's stopping anybody from creating a better life for themselves. What I do see a lot of is complaining, woe is me, it's too hard, shit's too expensive. That's you're focused on the wrong thing if it's gas is too expensive. Your focus shouldn't be on that. It should be on, how am I going to earn more money? What am I going to do to create the better mousetrap? And in terms of opportunity, you can't get any better than where we live now, today. The tools at our disposal. So it's tough, man.
Yeah,
it is. I have lots of friends in lots of student debt, and I'm not a prick or a jerk or a dick to them, but I have none. I paid for everything myself. So I have absolutely no sympathy, none. And if you got your college paid for through a scholarship, that's rad. If you got your college paid for because your parents paid for it, that's also very cool. Education is important. I don't think anybody's saying that it's not. What I am saying is that the way that the whole high school, are you going to go to college? What are you going to study? You're 17 years old. You're supposed to know what you want to do with the rest of your life. That doesn't make any sense. I think college is wildly overrated. I think that it's mainly unnecessary. I think there's other ways that you can learn how to create a skill that you can monetize so you can make a living and start a family if that's what you want to do with your life.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think something that people who talk like you do about this don't address is that, or maybe you don't agree with it, is that this is the society we live in, and bringing everyone up helps us. It'll, even when it comes to your pocketbook, economically,
high tide raises all ships.
Yes.
This is why entrepreneurs who hustle, who create opportunities for others, they should be the ones who are admired, right? Not hated on. You go out and you create a better mousetrap like Elon has or like Bezos has. You should be wildly applauded, not disparaged because of the opportunity you're creating for many others. Yes, those dudes are flawed. Yes, maybe even their business models in some way exploit certain systems. I mean, Amazon was using the United States Post Office to send so much of their stuff, and, you know, we're making money hand over fist until that was put to a stop. I'm just saying, this is why entrepreneurship is so important.
Those companies would be nowhere. Those entrepreneurs would be nowhere without the backs of and the exploitation of human beings in the global south, in other places in the world, and in America, the workers of America. There's no way to get to that level of quote unquote success or wealth without exploiting human beings.
The most financially successful people in the world in the history of mankind have always exploited and figured out a way to get leverage. Always. I will put it to you that I'll just ask you this question. Do you think that every financial problem is solvable if the person with the financial problem is just plain and simple willing to hustle harder?
No.
Yeah, well, you and I disagree there, because I sure drive by a lot of unmowed lawns every day when I'm working. I drive by a lot of unpainted houses, fallen over fences. If you hustle and you go get $300 or $400 of tools, you could go door to door. You could YouTube how to execute a handyman task.
Sure.
Learn how to do it, go sell your services, and you could literally make $10,000 a month. How do I know that's true? Because I've fucking done it. You don't have to be an apprentice. You don't have to go to technical school. All you got to do is hustle and have your head on a swivel and be looking for opportunities. That's it. End of story. It's true.
Sure. What about disabled people?
Yeah, I don't know what the numbers are there, man. I would say if your body is disabled, you could probably still do some sort of VA work. You know, obviously disabled people are going to need help from their family, their community, and their churches.
So
that's the order it should come in before the government gets involved.
So how will the community help these people? What about a disabled person, let's say like a disabled vet who has no family, who's mentally ill? What's their
So the guys in
community if
his
not-
platoon, they don't know anything about his situation. They haven't rallied around. They haven't started a GoFundMe. None of them go to a church. None of them are involved in charities.
Nope.
Well, I would put it to you that that's a very, very rare case.
But it exists, right? I'm
Sure,
just trying
it exists.
I'm just trying to
not saying
find
that-
something to
Oh,
where
I'm not saying that there's not the outlier. What I am saying is that the outlier is far outweighed by many other situations where people do have a community around them that does want to help. What I'm also saying is there's no free lunches, man. You've got to be able to pull your own weight and carry your own water. And if you're not willing to do that, you don't get to turn around and just complain. Complaining is just a waste of time. Take some fucking action. Change your life. Control absolutely everything that you have control over.